Welcome back, ESPN College Football Prime Time. The Sun Belt on a Thursday night. Southern Miss in Statesboro, Georgia to take on the Georgia Southern Eagles. Terrific crowd here at Paulson Stadium. You take a look at the Sun Belt standings very early in the conference season, but Southern Miss has already established themselves as a major player in the West. This is the last conference in the country that's still dividing East and West. The winners of each will meet in the Sun Belt Championship.
And Southern Miss had a big win over App State, 38-22 a couple weeks ago. Really set the tone for this 2025 season here in the Sun Belt.
Georgia Southern at 0-1, chasing Old Dominion and James Madison. They need a big performance from their veteran quarterback, J.C. French.
Yeah, he's a key guy here, and it's kind of an air raid type of offense. He's going to sling this ball around. First time in the 4 years Clay Helton has been head coach that he returns a starting quarterback from last year. Wants to see J.C. French improve even more tonight.
The perfect conditions to be throwing the football tonight. Early October at Statesboro, Georgia, just a touch below 70 degrees. You played 4 years at Notre Dame, 8 years in the NFL. This is perfect fall football weather.
This is absolutely perfect football weather here. I think the players certainly agree here.
And Southern Miss won the toss, decided to defer. So Georgia Southern, the home team, ready to receive. Beautiful blue and white uniforms here at home for Georgia Southern. The Golden Eagles set to kick things away in white and black. Reed Harradine to do the honors and to get us started on a Thursday night under the lights in Statesboro. Buckle up, we are expecting a fun one in the Sun Belt on a Thursday night, and we are underway. Georgia Southern lets it go for a touchback, and we get our first look at J.C. French. Rocky, you were just talking about him coming off a disappointing offensive performance against James Madison. They only put up 10 points. The big positive is didn't turn the ball over.
Didn't turn the ball over. That's a big thing for them. And J.C. French last year had 11 interceptions. He's really done a good job cutting that down, just 3 this year, taking better care of the football.
O.J. Arnold in the backfield with French on his left hip. And Arnold gets the carry. Immediately met by Michael Montgomery. This Southern Miss defense, so good and so strong, getting to the football in the run game.
Yeah, this defensive line for Southern Miss is the real deal. They got some game wreckers and a bunch of guys even on the bench that they'll rotate in. Very deep unit. But you already see from J.C. French, he's in full control of this offense. He's not looking over to the sideline for the checks. He's doing them himself out there.
Set to throw, releases it on 2nd and 9. A broken tackle for a Georgia Southern first down. That's Camden Brown, the transfer from Auburn, a gain of 10 to move the sticks.
And it's a great idea to get Camden Brown going early in this game. He's coming off a 5-catch, 111-yard performance last week. Get your best playmaker going early.
You have 4 in blue, somebody to keep an eye on tonight, as J.C. French and Clay Helton try and establish their offense, coming off a 10-point performance against James Madison. Play action, French escapes left and slides. That's a gain of 1. You mentioned, Rocky, everything J.C. French does at the line of scrimmage. His offensive coordinator, Ryan Applin, telling us he's got the pen last. And they have a lot of confidence in him to make adjustments right at the line.
And that's the experience he brings. He's started a lot of games here, and it's best to have your guy out on the field making the calls.
French rolling right, surveys, just throws it away. Good coverage by Southern Miss in the secondary, and that sets up 3rd and 9.
And you already see this pass rush from Southern Miss getting after J.C. French. That's Jamon Tapp. He's one of the best defensive ends in the Sun Belt Conference.
J.C. French and the Eagles offense trying to keep the opening drive alive. First down marker at the 46-yard line.
It's Camden Brown going in motion.
3rd and 9. French looking left, throwing left, and it's well defended. Anthony Richard all over it. Great pass breakup. And Georgia Southern forced to punt it away.
And this is just fantastic coverage on the outside. Anthony Richard. This is a great secondary they have too, but you can see he's reading him man to man, but as soon as the receiver puts his foot down in the ground, comes forward, breaks the pass up. Great job of defense there.
Alex Smith, the lefty, punts it away. It takes a Georgia Southern roll all the way to the 10-yard line. Added another 15+ yards to the punt. Goes 54 yards in total, and now we get our first look at the Southern Miss offense. We told you all about Braylon Braxton before kickoff. Yeah, he's so good, Rocky, at spreading the ball. It's tough to key in on just one or two skill players with Braxton.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they've got a ton of variance in their wide receiving core. A bunch of different guys you'll see tonight. So the defense can't just focus in on taking away one guy. There's a few they have to worry about. And you see the Southern Miss offense spreading the field. They like to spread this thing out wide. It creates a better, cleaner picture for Braylon Braxton.
And off Jeffrey Pittman, right up the middle, defended well by Georgia Southern. And that rush defense is the big key for the Eagles tonight. In their 3 losses, they've allowed more than 300 yards rushing. They've got to dial that in.
And the main thing, Jay, they got to do, I was going crazy watching film last week of these guys. They got to set an edge. They had no edge to their defense the last couple weeks, certainly against JMU. They must have that here tonight.
731 yards after contact. That's missed tackles. No missed tackle there. Micah Davis hit immediately and dropped by Brendan Harrington. Only a gain of 1.
And there you go. That's point number 2. They got to tackle better, especially in that 2nd and 3rd level. Last week was terrible tackling on the back end there for Georgia Southern. Great job so far.
Paulson Stadium gets loud for the first time. 3rd and 7.
Georgia Southern's got to be careful about Braxton running right here.
Hands it off. Pittman tripped up and brought down just shy of the first down marker. Needed 7, only got 6. And from your own 18-yard line, Charles Huff has to punt it away.
And that's a great start to this football game for Georgia Southern. Again, their defense has been leaky the last couple weeks there. Fantastic start.
Reed Harradine out to punt it away. He's also the kicker and does kickoffs for Southern Miss, so he's been busy the last couple of weeks. Flag in the backfield where Harradine punted it away. Our first penalty of the night. Let's get the call. Ted Pitts on the mic tonight as our referee.
During the kick, holding, kicking team, number 13. That 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Dead ball spot, first down.
Georgia Southern ball as both defenses dialed in to start this one on a Thursday night in the Sun Belt. Southern and the Eagles 2-0 at home this season, 0-3 away from Paulson. Part of that, Rocky, and sometimes we overcomplicate it. The offense really good at home, and they've struggled away from Statesboro.
Yeah, it's just something that, you know, they got to, as they get here at home, maybe feed off that crowd a little bit, but settle in and get a little balance running and throwing the ball.
Favorable starting field position after there was a penalty on the punt. Starting in Southern Miss territory, they go to the ground game. That's O.J. Arnold running hard. Chris Jones swallowed him up after a gain of 2.
And the Southern Miss defense, Jay, is fast. It looked like they had 2 guys leading around the end there, and it was open, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
Empty set, quick hitter, bubble screen. It's caught by Cam Brown. He's tripped up. but it does set up a 3rd and manageable here in what is likely 4-down territory for Georgia Southern.
I think it absolutely is here. Even on 3rd down, if you can just get a few and set up a more manageable 4th down.
3rd and 3 as J.C. French in the offense up the tempo. Handoff Arnold falling forward. He's short. So 4th and 1. You have to imagine that Clay Helton will leave his offense on the field here. Arnold comes off. David Bedinga in the game.
And Southern Miss runs an odd front. And they got that big nose tackle, Isaiah Gibson, right over the center.
And French goes under center for the first time tonight on a 4th and 1. Big play early in this game. Southern Miss trying to turn him over on downs. French, quarterback keeper, pushing that pile. And he does for a Georgia Southern 1st down.
Yeah, it's key early on. Get your offense some confidence. You're coming off a game last week where you only scored 10 points. It was important to score early, get off to a faster start.
First and 10 after the quarterback sneak. Play action, French slings it right back to Brown. That's been the top target for French tonight. 3 targets already. That's a gain of 8.
And that's what a quarterback has to do in this offense, Jay. The ball's got to come out in rhythm. Play fake, back foot hits, ball is out. Decent throw, a little bit behind Camden Brown, but again, getting that ball out fast in rhythm is how you got to do it.
Flea flicker. How about this? French taking a shot. Finds Brown again inside the 5. Big play in the passing game and some trickery. There's a flag in the backfield, but as it stands, a gain of 24.
Foul, roughing the passer, number 90 defense.
Wow.
That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Yeah, great job. Not really the area of the field where you expect a flea flicker, right? Usually that's more of a middle of the field sort of situation. But, I mean, just an absolute dot thrown by J.C. French on that corner route. And here you get the late hit. And Najee Hallenbeck, goes to the head.
So the ball spotted at the 2-yard line after the flea flicker and the penalty. French goes under center, flips it. Bedinga. Is he in? Yes! Dives in. David Bedinga opens the scoring. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Bedinga, Jay, is not very tall at 5'7", but he packs a punch. Watch this. I love the tempo. They get to the line, quick pitch, and then he's going to find 23 Anthony Richard, bang, and just run right through that tackle. Now that's a way to fire up your offense, start running the ball effectively down there where it counts.
But Georgia Southern capitalizes on the short field. They go 48 yards. It's 7 plays. And it's a 7-0 lead for the home team Eagles.
And Georgia Southern, not really a power outfit, but they stack that line of scrimmage, get some blue jerseys, pushing some white jerseys around, and power that thing into the end zone with Bedinga. Georgia Southern on top 7-0 here early.
Life Center. He has done an incredible job. He's got to be happy with the Georgia Southern start here. 7-0 lead for the Eagles here at home. There's a flag down on the kickoff.
Holding, number 13 return team during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So before Southern Miss starts to drive, we told you we went to the Wildlife Center, which Steve Hind founded. It's his #1 priority is now finding Freedom's successor. It took him 13 years to find Freedom, so he admits there's big wings to fill, but he's hoping he can do it sooner than that. Strong start to this game for the Eagles of Georgia Southern. Chance Campbell makes a stop, gain of 1 for Jeffrey Pittman. And this defense has been shot out of a cannon. The defense that has struggled in the run game through 5 games.
They are playing with their hair on fire tonight, Jay.
Southern Miss stays with the ground attack. A big pile there. Brendan Harrington, the first to the ball. Gain of 5.
Yeah, Brendan Harrington came over from App State. He missed the last 2 seasons with injury. 24 years old, but doing a good job with that linebacking core for Georgia Southern.
A 3rd and 4 for Braylon Braxton in the Southern Miss offense. Braxton, play action, in trouble. Trying to push that pile, falling forward, and he got there. Needed 4, got 4, churning the legs, the extra effort pays off for Braylon Braxton.
And you're not going to push Braylon Braxton back just by kind of softly coming up there. This is a 240-pound man with powerful legs. Look at that, just pushing the pile.
That is all effort. What could have been a loss of 1 ends up as a gain of 4 and a first down for Braxton in Southern Miss. Hole finally opens up in the run game for Pittman. He powers through it for a gain of 5. Justin Myers, the safety, came up to make the stop.
Yeah, Pittman's one of the 3 or 4 backs we'll see for Southern Miss tonight. He was injured a little bit early in the year, came back last game versus Jack State.
Quan McGinney is down for Georgia Southern on the defensive line, the junior out of Mobile, Alabama. Transferred in from Arkansas State. And Georgia Southern can't take many more injuries on that defensive line, an already depleted unit. McGinney getting attended to. Will step aside with Georgia Southern leading 7-0. Sun Belt with ULM now doing big things for the Tigers as they prepare for Alabama. 2nd and 5. Tracy Hill Jr. loss of 1. And without Quan McGinney, who went down before we stepped aside and walked off the field under his own power, this run defense continues to deliver.
You can tell this is what they really worked on during that bye week, the perimeter tackling. Great job so far.
3rd and 6. Braxton taking a deep shot. One-on-one coverage. And it's incomplete, but a flag flies in. Elijah Metcalf, the intended target. Dorian Smith, very upset with the flag.
Pass interference, defense, number 23. That's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Clay Helton, the head coach for Georgia Southern, not happy either.
I mean, there was a little bit of contact, but I could live with that not being called in that situation.
So Smith,
not enough.
Doesn't turn that head around.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you can always get your head around, they're going to give you more benefit of the doubt. But I'm with Clay Helton. I think that's a flag that could have been kept in the pocket.
So instead of Southern Miss punting it away, it's a 1st and 10 for the Golden Eagles offense. Play action again. Braxton, plenty of time, good pocket. Going deep again to no avail. He overshot Micah Davis.
What a great job of coverage by Chance Gamble. Because it was really a 2-person route and a double move trying to catch Chance Gamble sleeping. You'll see it at the top up there, right there. And you try to double move, but Gamble was on the spot.
First 7 plays of this game, Southern Miss ran the football. The last 2, they've gone to the air. Big hit. Braxton absorbed it. 240 pounds, and he went down hard. Aiden Jackson and Dorian Smith laying the lumber.
That might be the hardest hit I've seen Brendan Braxton take all season. And when you're giving up about 30 pounds, if you're Aiden Jackson, you better bring it. He did.
Sets up another 3rd down test. 50-yard line is where the first down marker is. Handoff, Pittman. Huge hole up the middle for a Southern Miss first down. Jeffrey Pittman, the transfer from Mississippi State. Big run there to keep the drive alive.
And that's what Southern Miss does. They just spread the field out, get that defense all spread out, then just a simple handoff up the middle.
Tempo here, a play action. Braxton taking a shot, right on the money. Touchdown, Southern Miss. Tyshawn Chapman. What an answer by the Golden Eagles offense. 50-yard strike.
And what Brendan Braxton is going to see is this is middle of the field open. There's a safety there, safety there. So where do you attack? The middle of the field. Watch this come right through there. Bang.
Well, we told you before kickoff, but how do you turn around a program like Charles Huff has done that won only 1 game all of last season in a single offseason? Well, you bring 21 former players with you, 21 players that won this conference, the Sun Belt, a year ago at Marshall, followed Huff to Hattiesburg. And right on cue, Braxton, Marshall's quarterback, finds Chapman, one of Marshall's wide receivers.
Yeah, and again, especially bringing the quarterback over someone of the caliber of Braylon Braxton is huge. But that's your trigger man. That's your leader on the field. And again, yeah, you bring guys that have experience. They've been through the gauntlet. They know how to win a Sun Belt title. It's really turned this program around again and won just 1 game last year.
And that 50-yard touchdown from Braylon Braxton to Tyshawn Chapman, the longest offensive play for Southern Miss on the season. It capped a 9-play, 89-yard drive that tied this game at 7. Well, Georgia Southern will get the ball back, and their offense an opportunity to answer. And they went into the bag and pulled out a flea flicker, punched it in, and now can you string positive possessions together if you're J.C. French and Clay Helton's offense?
And that's part of it. You know, early in the game, you got your first 15, you got kind of your game plan coming in, but at this point of the game, it becomes what adjustments is Southern Miss making and how can we counter those adjustments? That'll be key moving forward.
French looking to throw it on first down, rolls right. Just throws it away. O.J. Arnold, the closest to the football. There's a flag down at the 20.
Might get a late hit here.
There is no foul on the play. The quarterback was a runner, and the low hit on the quarterback is legal in that case. 2nd down.
Well, Clay Helton has not been happy with this officiating crew so far
already.
in the first
That's right,
quarter.
Exactly.
And he's letting them know it. I think that headset spent more time in his hand than on his actual head.
He's going to be on the ground here soon, I think.
So a 2nd and 10, no penalty. French puts Dalen Cobb in motion. Pump fakes, then throws it, and he got hit as he threw. There's another flag down.
Ineligible player downfield, offense. Number 7 was covered up. 5-yard penalty, replay, second down. Correction, decline, third down.
So penalty decline. Charles Huff, Southern Miss's head coach, deciding to go for a 3rd and 10 instead of a 2nd and 15. And Georgia Southern is 0 for 2 on 3rd down tonight.
And Southern Miss bringing in 2 fresh rushers, Garrett Ponder and Jamon Tapp.
Well, they'll have their ears pinned back on a 3rd and 10. French with 3 wide receivers to his right, looks that way, in trouble, and down he goes. J.J. Hawkins. A loss of 7 on the sack. French ran right into him. And Georgia Southern will be forced to punt it away.
And J.J. Hawkins, Jay, has been playing at a high level here recently. He's finally making those splash plays. Had a sack last week. That time goes in the air. Southern Miss stacks 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, and there is just nowhere to go for J.C. French, who's looking for an escape route.
Hawkins' 3rd sack of the season, and again, one of those 21 Marshall players who followed Coach Huff to Hattiesburg after winning the Sun Belt a year ago. And this will be favorable starting field position for the Southern Miss offense. As we remind you, kick off your Week 6 NFL Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. They'll tell you everything you need to know, preview every game right up to kickoff.
And this is important right now for Georgia Southern to make a stand here and stop the bleeding. Southern Miss was a little slow to get going here. Then, of course, on that last drive, hit the big play. Georgia Southern got to settle back in.
Southern Miss getting very good protection in the passing game, especially when you consider they're without their starting left tackle, Blake Bustard. Quick hitter there. Not much running room for Chapman, only a gain of 3. So the left guard, Greg Nunnery, has slid to tackle. And Cooper Frazier, the backup center, is in at left guard. You wouldn't know it by watching them block tonight. Pitch left. And to spin his way free, Matt Jones, the Ole Miss transfer. That's his first tackle of the night, only gained a yard. Brings up 3rd down.
There's about 3 spins by Matt Jones on that play. Into 3rd down. Georgia Southern, watch the escape lanes. Got to have those things plugged up for Braylon Braxton.
3rd and 6. Braxton throws. Pass is knocked away. Chance Gamble pried it off the hands of Braylon Brown.
I'll tell you what, Chance Gamble was playing one heck of a ball game. Great job here, just reading the receiver. Sticks his left foot in the ground, in the presence of mind of getting the hand up and pulling those arms down. He did a great job earlier, Jay, on the double move that they tried to run. Smart, heady players, a preseason first-team All-Sun Belt Conference player. He's playing like it tonight.
Jack Murley, the lefty punter from Australia, into the game after Harradine took the first punt, and he brilliantly places it inside the 5-yard line. There's a flag down, but as it stands, an excellent punt for Murley. We'll tell you his story in a second. It's a remarkable one.
During the kick, holding for 45, receiving team. That penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
So Jack Murley, he's the oldest player in college football. He is a 30-year-old freshman. So he comes from Australia, like a lot of punters do, making the move from down under to college football. And he's missed the last 2 games because he had a family emergency back in Australia. So he hops on a plane, makes that long journey, handles his family situation, flies back, arrived on Sunday, and did not take the first punt of this game, but he took the second one and couldn't have done it any better. This ball placed inside the 3-yard line. Bedinga, who scored the opening touchdown for Georgia Southern. No room to run there. Swallowed up at the line of scrimmage and shoved backwards. Joseph Harper shot in there for Southern Miss.
Southern Miss just does a good job of bouncing in and out of different fronts. Sometimes they're in an odd front with a guy over a nose tackle over the center, and they bounce out of that thing. It's different looks they try to give that quarterback.
They have struggled to find running lanes.
Look at the movement right there on that D-line.
Bedinga was patient there, and no hole opened up for him. Isaiah Gibson Jr. stops him for a gain of 2. So how would you go attacking a Southern Miss defensive line that's sometimes in 3, sometimes in 4?
If I'm Georgia Southern, I'm going more tempo. I'm getting up to that line, snapping that ball faster, and not allowing them to bounce in and out of different looks.
Gibson, who just made the tackle on the previous play, stays down and is getting attended to by the medical staff.
Yeah, I mean, that is the way to battle a defense that's trying to spin in and out of different fronts and coverages. As you go some tempo, you get up the line and you snap that ball. I'm actually a little surprised. I thought we were going to see some more tempo out of Georgia Southern offensively here tonight.
Well, when they scored the touchdown, they hit on the flea flicker and then immediately got to the lane.
That's how you keep a defense out of stemming around and jumping in and out of things.
Well, Southern Miss scores that touchdown, takes a little air out of Paulson Stadium, and their defense has been very stout in the run game.
And there he is right there in that whole mass of humanity.
Georgia Southern has struggled in the run game, just 6 yards on 9 carries.
Yeah, that's big because Isaiah Gibson, I think, is a real key to this front for Southern Miss. They got so many edge rushers out there that are great and fast and explosive, but Gibbons is a guy that can push that pocket right in the quarterback's face.
Georgia Southern 0 for 3 on 3rd down tonight. Cobb in motion. French looking left. Pump fake. Now lets it fly. And it's knocked down, incomplete. Anthony Richard in coverage on Marcus Sanders.
And French was just a little late on that throw, Jay. Remember I said in this offense, you got to get the ball out in rhythm. And if it's just a heartbeat sooner, it allows the receiver to be able to come up with this, but just a little bit late, and Richard is able to step in front, and he's lucky that thing didn't get picked.
Alex Smith, the junior, also from Australia, punting it out of his own end zone. Elijah Metcalf runs over, fields it just short of the 50 and takes it into Georgia Southern territory, where Southern Miss will take over in very favorable field position. It's been feast or famine for Charles Huff offense tonight. 2 punts and 1 impressive 89-yard touchdown drive, where Braylon Braxton found Tyshawn Chapman for a 50-yard strike in the passing game.
It's a light box here. Yep.
So they run it with Pittman. And Rocky, we were talking this week, you think Braylon Braxton does an outstanding job looking at the box, seeing if his offense has numbers and going with the run.
Yeah, it's a math problem. You know, you're saying, hey, we got 6 or 7 guys, they got 5, boom, we're handing that ball off. They start to balance this thing up, then you go the pass like this.
Good protection. Braxton steps up, wide open, busted coverage. It's Southern Miss capitalizes. Elijah Metcalf takes Southern Miss into the red zone on a gain of 29.
And that was all the offensive line, Jay. He has forever to throw this ball. This progression, he's not supposed to be able to get back all the way to the opposite side of the field like he did. But credit that O-line for giving him the time, and great catch by Metcalf.
Braxton keeps it, throws to the end zone.
That's a penalty.
That's clearly defensive holding. Morris had no chance to catch that ball. A touchdown saving penalty if you're Georgia Southern.
That's true.
Holding, defense, number 29, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
Because Morris had Collier beat.
And they bring the rail route right up the sideline, and yeah, Collier is beaten. Goes ahead and holds Caden Morris.
20 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Georgia Southern scored the first touchdown of this game, but it's been all Southern Miss since.
Georgia Southern defense playing so well early, but then a couple busted coverages, a couple penalties. Got to get it back together.
First and goal, Braxton tried to pick out Braylon Brown on the slant route and just missed him.
Who else? Chance Gamble making more plays out there. This area of the field, Jay, quarterback a lot of time likes a little ISO slant route. He saw it up top. Thought he liked the matchup, but Chance Gamble was playing high-level football here tonight.
Well, Pittman, the running back on the right hip of Braxton, has been the red zone threat. 4 touchdowns on the season. Now switches to the left hip.
Georgia
in motion.
More of a run, stop, and look.
Braxton trying to do it himself. Gang tackled right at the 5-yard line. And that will finish the first quarter, although a flag comes in very late. Well after the play was blown dead.
Personal foul, defense, number 29, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's Collier again. Didn't see what the penalty was.
Right there.
Oh.
Takes a couple of swings.
Yeah, takes a couple of swings there, assumingly after the whistle. He's trying to punch that ball out, but I ain't going to cut it.
Well, the penalties are piling up against the home team, Georgia Southern. The ball placed at the 2-yard line for a first and goal to start the second quarter. Southern Miss and Charles Huff, the first-year head coach who won the Sun Belt a year ago with Marshall, has turned Southern Miss around. They are knocking on the door with a chance to take the lead. We'll start the second quarter from the 2-yard line in Statesboro when we come back. Ball prime time on a Thursday night. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. Each team scored on their second drive, and since then, Southern Miss has had all the momentum. A program looking for their first road win in nearly 2 years. November 2023 starts the second quarter from the 2-yard line. They hand it off. Pittman bulldozing for the touchdown. Jeffrey Pittman, the transfer from Mississippi State, powers it in to start the second quarter with a Southern Miss touchdown.
Charles Huff excited about that one. Jeffrey Pittman, just an absolute hammer of a running back, 6'1", 215 pounds, just finds a little crease and pops it in.
So Southern Miss in the driver's seat. 5-play, 45-yard touchdown drive to take the lead. Now in between the first and second quarter, Georgia Southern head coach Clay Helton was giving the officials a very hard time. Helton, we showed you throughout, feels like he's gotten a tough whistle tonight. I mean, he was doing his best Lou Piniella impression. And if you don't understand that reference, look it up.
Look it up. I'm from Cincinnati. I know who Lou Piniella is. He's the best. Bring him back.
And Rocky, when your team's 2-3 and you're going through a tough spell, you're at home, you know you need this game to rescue your season. Do you kind of do that to show the guys, hey, look, I'm fighting for you?
I think so. I think you show your leader shows the team he's fighting for him. But right now, I mean, Southern Miss is controlling the line of scrimmage. I mean, and Clay Helton's upset. They've had a couple penalties. that he thinks were a little bit, you know, a little bit egregious.
Yeah, 4 penalties for 34 yards, but they came in very critical moments that have kept drives alive.
Kept a drive going. One was on a 3rd down.
And Charles Huff's Southern Miss Golden Eagles have capitalized on the penalties, and now a 14-7 advantage. Alan Cobb runs this out of his own end zone, and he's met just past the 10-yard line. Great special teams by Southern Miss. Well coached by Joe Bolden, and the special teams unit delivers there for the Golden Eagles. Jameer Lewis, the senior.
You mentioned Joe Bolden, one of Cincinnati's finest. Great special teams coach. Played at Coleraine High School in Ohio, played at Michigan. But right now, Jay, it's just Georgia Southern offense. J.C. French has got to find a way to string a good drive together here. As I said earlier, I would go some tempo. I feel like J.C. French operates better when they're going at a faster speed.
A bubble screen here, big hit. Dallin Cobb drilled as he caught that football. And Corey Myrick.
And Southern Miss, Jay, has some heat-seeking missiles in that back end. Corey Myrick, Ian Foster. I mean, 2 of the very best in the Sun Belt flying around out there.
A lot of football left in this game, but this feels like a massive drive for Georgia Southern to get some momentum back in this game. That play could ignite the drive. Camden Brown, gain of 20.
There we go. Always a good idea to find your best wide receiver in crunch time. Camden Brown shooting the ball there, allow him to miss a tackle.
And now French showing that urgency, upping the tempo. And he throws an interception. Went a little too quickly that time. It's Southern Miss picks it off. Jonathan Penix
is an interception. First down, Southern Miss.
Penix read the eyes of French. The Virginia Tech transfer with a huge interception.
You mentioned, Jay, they went tempo, which I think is a good idea. It helps the picture, but you still can't throw the ball into coverage. You still can't force one. And cornerback there was just sitting on that. Penix. A great job of him. Look at him. He has eyes on the quarterback, sinks his hips. He's there squatting in the flat there and just jumps right in front of Dallin Cobb.
Penix's first interception on the season, but Southern misses 7th. Braxton trying to run it himself on first down. No gain.
And this is kind of what Southern Miss does. You watch them all year. It's just kind of bubble screens to the perimeter and some zone runs, some gap runs, kind of lull you to sleep, and then they just take a shot downfield like they did earlier, and I would expect another one here soon.
You might be right now. Braxton seeing who's open. There's a flag that flies in the backfield. Nobody was open, so just threw it away.
Holding, 67 offense. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
That's against the center, Broderick Roman.
Yeah, Braxton wanted to take a shot there. Wasn't there, so good job of him not trying to force that ball in. A 3-man rush here for Georgia Southern.
And another flag.
False start, offense, number 6. That's a 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So if Georgia Southern defensively lines up the way they did before the penalty, they're going to put 3 on the line of scrimmage, only rush 3, drop 8 into coverage. But you got to make sure you close off those vertical run escape routes of Braylon Braxton.
So dangerous with his feet. Near 200 rushing yards on the air, and he takes off right up the middle, all the way back to the 50. Right on cue, Rocky.
Yeah, again, that's the thing, is you try to drop 8 and take away every throwing lane, he's gonna take what you give him there. Good for about 12 yards, and now making a little bit more manageable 3rd down.
Another flag. The
Sideline
penalties are
warning,
piling up.
Southern Miss. This is their first warning.
Charles Huff not happy now. Ted Pitts, our referee, he might get a SAG card after this first half.
I was say, it's not a contest. All right, for Southern Miss, big 3rd down here. If I'm Braylon Braxton, I'm looking for Carl Chester. That's his #1 target. There he is at the top of the screen. His old buddy from Marshall.
False start, 55 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And the crowd brought that flag. Paulson Stadium getting into full voice ahead of a 3rd down, and now it's 3rd and 19 after the penalty.
Carlos Slayton dancing around. All right, here we go, boys. Let's
Listen
get a
to this
playoff.
crowd on a 3rd and 19. Southern Miss runs it. Well short of the sticks. Got 8 of the 19 needed. That's the power of Paulson. Head coach Clay Helton was talking about. He's 15-5 in 20 home games here. They're 2-0 on the season in this building. That was a drive where Georgia Southern needed their crowd, needed their defense, and they both delivered.
And I'll tell you what, it feels like Southern Miss has been in control of most of this game here, certainly most of this quarter. But if you look around here, Georgia Southern, it's a 14-7 game.
Yeah, and Southern Miss fails to capitalize after the J.C. French interception. French and the offense back on the field, down 7 when we come back. Tonight, since it's been all Southern Miss, 14 unanswered for the Golden Eagles, who have stolen the momentum but failed to capitalize on a J.C. French interception. Got the ball in great field position, but forced to punt it away, and now J.C. French and the Eagles offense back out there, starting right around their own 20-yard line. French goes right back to the air. Pass is caught. He found Marcus Sanders. Georgia Southern, since that touchdown, 3 and out, interception. They need to spark something on this drive.
But that's the way to start this drive off. A good, nice 1st down throw for 7 yards. Starting it the right way.
Second and 3, French. Quick hitter to the flat. Badinga, who scored that opening touchdown we just saw, takes it for a Georgia Southern 1st down, gain of 6.
Here we go. Get to the line. Let's rip off another play. It's just like a little less time being taken here. If I'm Georgia Southern.
Puts Camden Brown in motion. A pump and go. French looking for Brown. Sails it over his head.
And that was just a great job on the back end by Jonathan Penix. He was not fooled on that. They were trying to pump the bubble screen. That's what teams like to do. Bubble screen, bubble screen, bubble screen. And then as a defender, you're tired of tackling a guy in space, and then they try to hit you deep.
Second 10, play action. Quick release from French, and he goes right back to Brown, and this time connects for a gain of 5.
And Jay, we talked about, in my opinion, French wanting to go fast, but also, we said he's a guy that he's in total command. It's almost like too much command. They get to the line, and then he's got all these checks he's got to make, and meanwhile the defense can get settled in and change their look.
Big third down here. 5 yards to keep the drive alive.
So it looks like they're going to bring 5.
French throws on third down, and it falls incomplete. That throw a little behind Marcus Sanders. And that feels like a missed opportunity by French and the Georgia Southern offense to steal some of this Southern Miss momentum.
Yeah, and we're trying to go with a double slant route there. I would like, if I see him in man there, I'd like to have some sort of route combination that, where you get a little bit of a pick and try to get a guy some space to get open rather than that quarterback having to just put a ball absolutely in the perfect spot. That's a tough throw.
And the Eagles now 0 for 5 on third down. Good punt from Alex Smith. Pins Southern Miss inside their own 10. Whoa, how about that? We got random fandom. Nice little teaser.
Who's that
coming
guy?
up next? For much of this first half, only a touchdown lead midway through this second quarter. Rocky Boyman, this is a golden opportunity for a Georgia Southern offense that has struggled on their last 4 drives.
Yeah, I mean, they've been stuffed 4 times here, but it's early in this game, Jay, but I feel like this is an absolutely critical drive. You get the ball back in great field position. Your defense has made a bunch of stops. You can pull some momentum off of that. It's up to J.C. French in this offense to produce.
They start from the Southern Miss 36-yard line.
Timeout, Southern Miss. This is their first of the half. 30 seconds in length.
And Southern Miss has to burn a timeout before the drive even begins. This is the second drive that Georgia Southern has started in Southern Miss territory. The other one, that's their lone touchdown. So this feels like has to be the opportunity after Southern Miss has grabbed momentum in this matchup that Georgia Southern has to capitalize on this field position. Charles Huff, the Southern Miss head coach, knows it, didn't like his defensive setup, takes that timeout. 2 Monday Night Football games for you next week. Josh Allen of the Bills taking on the Falcons, 7 Eastern on ESPN, and then over on ABC an hour later, Bears at Commanders. 2 games, Monday Night Football, 1 on ESPN, 1 on ABC. 1st and 10. O.J. Arnold trying to establish that run. Georgia Southern has struggled to run the ball all night long. Only 5 total yards rushing tonight. They're averaging less than 1 yard per carry.
And again, it's that front for Southern Miss stemming around, and Georgia Southern just has not figured out how to block that thing. As I've said, I think tempo helps that out, but they've got to figure out a way to get some balance. The other thing they got to do is get the ball to that guy right there. Camden Brown got 6 receptions on the night.
Brown in motion. French throws over the middle. It's intercepted. Southern Miss read it the whole way. Michael Montgomery had the eyes of French, returns it 25 yards.
The ruling on the field is an interception by Southern Miss. First down.
And French is picked off for the second time tonight. This one so costly. Michael Montgomery all over it.
Just an absolute crusher. He goes quick game here. He just does not see the rusher dropping out there. It was Michael Montgomery. He's up in the line. Looks like he's showing a blitz. He drops out. J.C. French just does not see him. Quarterback facing pressure, wants to throw that slant route in right there, but you got to be able to see a dropper.
Braxton checks it down, finds Pittman out of the backfield. He swung down. Forward progress, gains of a yard. Well, we said it ahead of that Georgia Southern offensive possession. Starting on the 36-yard line of Southern Miss. That had to be the possession that turns into points. Instead, an interception, and the momentum stays with the road team, Southern Miss.
He's done such a good job taking care of the ball this year, but 2 interceptions already tonight.
Pittman, powerful run. Jeffrey Pittman. You do not want to try and tackle him. The transfer from Mississippi State. Punishing.
Yeah, this is Chance Gamble's going to come fill that hole, but gets tossed out of the club. I give him credit for sticking it up in there, but Jeffrey Pittman has some power.
Just short of the first down marker. 3rd and inches. Braxton goes under center.
Fumble.
Did not get it cleanly from the center, Broderick Roman. And he recovers the football, but
Huge
does not
here.
pick up the first down, so it'll be 4th and 1. They should lose a couple of inches. And Southern Miss keeps their offense on the field.
Southern Miss, so no signs of coming off. We're going to try to get this thing. Imagine Braylon Braxton, his 240-pound frame, be a part of it.
Georgia Southern jumps on the line. Uche Ilo.
Offside, defense, number 98, with contact. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So on a 4th and 1, Elo jumps early, and it's an automatic first down for Southern Miss.
And Clay Helton can't believe it. I mean, he's getting ready to possibly get off the field here with a 4th down stop, and he just gave it to him.
The penalties have continued to come at bad times for Georgia Southern. Braxton taking a shot here on 1st and 10 after the penalty to the end zone. Touchdown! Carl Chester, his first catch of the night. A 30-yard touchdown for Southern Miss.
Well, this is his guy, Jay. Carl Chester was at Marshall last year. These guys have a lot of rapport together, and he caught Georgia Southern with a double move.
21 unanswered points for Southern Miss on the road after home team Georgia Southern started the scoring in this game.
And it was a perfect opportunity for Southern Miss to take a shot. You get the first down, but you know, there he is right there. There's Carl Chester, and you're going to see the double move. And as soon as that cornerback sits, boom, just that little hesitation is enough for Carl Chester, who goes 6'3", 200, and very, very fast. That's all he needed to get the bead on Tracy Hill.
You know, Braylon Braxton has not thrown the ball a ton in this first half. He only has 7 completions, but when he has, they've been big strikes. A 50-yard touchdown, now a 30-yard touchdown.
And again, I just love that play call there. You get the penalty for the first down. You know Georgia Southern's defense is going to be all dejected and pointing fingers, and what do? You go for the hammer. The big play up top, and you complete it.
Well, when Charles Huff stayed in the Sun Belt and moved from Marshall to Southern Miss after winning the league with Marshall a year ago, the big question was, you know, why would you go from winning the league to a team that only won 1 game all of last season? I think it was the confidence knowing, hey, if I bring some Marshall players with me that know the expectations, that know the culture, it'll be an easier turnaround. And you bring 21 players, including the quarterback and a lot of his top targets. They've showed up in this first half.
There's no secret to this, Jay. You get good players in, all of a sudden, your luck will turn. And, I mean, there you see it. I mean, 21 players. And again, you're talking the quarterback, 3 receivers, you know, a bunch of guys secondary on defense. Yeah.
It has led to a smooth transition. You know, the one thing that has plagued Charles Huff's team this year is they have not won on the road yet this season. Lost to Louisiana Tech.
False start, offense, number 4. It's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And as a program, Southern Miss has not won on the road in nearly 2 years, November 2023. So that's why this game was huge, coming off the bye, a chance to prove to this program, look, we can go on the road, a very tough place to play in Paulson Stadium, and they have been phenomenal in this first half. 21 unanswered to grab control of this Thursday night Sun Belt matchup. After the penalty, a 1st and 15. And just nothing going in the run game. O.J. Arnold driven back and thrown down by Brodarius Lewis.
I mean, this front for Southern Miss is just vicious. I mean, Brodarius Lewis comes off that edge, stout, strong, thrown O.J. Arnold back. I mean, this, in my eyes, is one of the best defensive fronts in the Sun Belt Conference.
2nd and 14, French throws. That pass is dropped. Dallin Cobb couldn't haul it in.
Can I just say this? For Georgia Southern offensively, things just look hard, right? There's never any route combinations or schemes where guys are open. It's just like every throw, every run is just difficult. It's taxing. Got to find some scheme to just get some guys open, have a couple easy completions for your quarterback, and it's just not there.
Well, you're saying everything looks hard. What has been very hard is 3rd down. 0 for 5 tonight on 3rd down, and a 3rd and 14 here. French throws. The flag comes in. 2 flags, one in the secondary, one in the backfield, as French took a big hit as he released that ball. So the penalties could extend the drive here for Georgia Southern.
There's 2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 33 defense. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense, number 23. That 15-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
And it was Avery Sledge that came around, and they're going to get the hit on the quarterback. Watch, he loops around, and he goes up high on the quarterback, and then here's Richard. Yeah, you can see just kind of just out of camera angle, he has the hams around the waist of Marcus Sanders.
So a much-needed 1st down for the Georgia Southern offense to keep the drive alive. 1st and 10 after the penalties. Play action. French in trouble. Down he goes. Chris Jones, the sophomore linebacker, a sack and a loss of 10.
Chris Jones is tied for 8th in football with tackles. And this time finally making a big play. And they're just doing such a good job, Jay, stemming around and twisting and stunting. And these Georgia Southern offensive line is just all out of sorts.
Very difficult first half for the quarterback, J.C. French. He has been put under constant pressure. Thrown 2 interceptions, taken 2 sacks as well. 2nd and 20. And French can't connect with Marcus Sanders. Sanders shook free and just not in rhythm in the passing game right now.
Not in rhythm. The ball in a rhythm-based offense like this, as I've said, ball's got to be out in time, but it's also got to be accurate. That ball's behind the receiver. It's got to be where he can catch it and tuck it and get upfield and make some yards.
Third and 20. The Eagles run it. And Southern Miss has been dominant with their run defense all night. A frustrating first half continues for Georgia Southern.
Southern Miss. This is their 2nd of the half. Please reset the game clock to 3:33. 3:33. Thank you.
Southern Miss takes a timeout to preserve some clock here, as they're going to get the ball back. You know, Georgia Southern scores the first touchdown of this game. They get the home
game
crowd
clock, please,
behind
set
him.
at 3-3-3.
And really, since that moment, it has been all Southern Miss.
It really looks like, Jay, that they watched tape all week and during the bye week, and they had a good plan coming in. Their first 10 plays, good, but then once Southern Miss started to make some adjustments, they weren't able to counter those adjustments, and Southern Miss has just really been able to take control. I mean, the offense we saw on that first drive for Georgia Southern has looked nothing like the offense we've seen since.
J.C. French started this game 4 of 6, 48 yards. Since 3 of 14, just 37 yards and 2 picks. And since that time, it's allowed Southern Miss to go 21 unanswered. And this league could be even more lopsided in favor of the road team Golden Eagles. They failed to capitalize on great field position after one of those J.C. French interceptions. But still, they'll settle for a 2-touchdown lead on the road. Braylon Braxton has joined great company. Nick Mullins, who's made some starts in the National Football League, with 2 touchdown passes in consecutive games. He's done it in all 6 they've played this season.
And I think you got to give some credit to Blake Anderson, the offensive coordinator, longtime head coach, Arkansas State, Utah State. He comes here as the OC, and Braxton has looked very comfortable.
Continues to do so, right on cue.
Just an absolute dart. I mean, perfectly thrown.
Fires it right into Braylon Brown for a gain of 17. Plenty of time here for Southern Miss ahead of halftime. 3 minutes left to this first half. 1 timeout at their disposal. Pittman falls forward, gain of 2. Braxton looking to the air. Right on the money again. In a great rhythm right now. Right back to Braylon Brown. Gain of 11.
Took the words out of my mouth. Rhythm. That is the perfect description. I mean, for Braylon Braxton, gets the snap, back foot hits, ball is out perfectly on that out route. Great spot. He looks calm, comfortable out there in this scheme.
Playing with the confidence and command that won a Sun Belt championship a year ago for Marshall. That has transitioned right over with his head coach at Southern Miss. Play action again. Braxton taking a deep shot. And it's broken up and no flag.
That ball was just underthrown. You see Braylon Braxton knows it too. If he gets that ball out a little bit further and possibly just a little bit higher, and you can see that Chapman has to stop and come back for the ball. That allows the defender Tracy Hill to catch up to it.
That would have been a Southern Miss touchdown. Instead, 2nd and 10. Braxton going right back to the same route. This time put too much on it. Carl Chester, the intended target.
And you can tell right now Charles Huff wants to go for the kill shot. And they attack Tracy Hill again, this time with Carl Chester, and you're right. Last one was underthrown, this one was just overthrown a little bit. Carl Chester can absolutely fly. That ball just got away from Braxton a little bit.
So you go back to it one more time.
Why not?
Underthrown, overthrown, maybe the 3rd attempt will be just right.
Well, you can see they got Chance Gamble up to the top of the screen now. They put a different cornerback out there.
Timeout, Georgia Southern.
Timeout, Georgia Southern. First of the half. 30 seconds in length.
Now, Georgia Southern has all 3 timeouts, so Clay Helton using one of those 3 timeouts, so 2 remaining. You can't take them with you, so you get your defense set ahead of a big 3rd down against a quarterback in Braylon Braxton that has been dominant against his Georgia Southern defense.
He really has. He has just looked in rhythm. I mean, aside from those last 2 missed throws, he has put the ball on the money. He's found the right guy. He showed patience when he's had to. He's had great time provided by his offensive line, but he has looked every bit of the part of a guy who came into the season. He was the preseason Sun Belt Conference Offensive Player of the Year. And look at those stats. In the last 2 games, he is flat getting it done.
On a 3rd and 10, great protection. Braxton, he's got all night.
Wow.
Dials up a great throw, threads the needle to Braylon Brown again. That's Brown's 3rd catch on this drive alone. A gain of 20.
2-minute timeout.
Brings us to our 2-minute timeout. Southern Miss in business again at the 25-yard line when we come back. And college football prime time. Southern Miss, a statement first half in the Sun Belt on a Thursday night, 28 unanswered. And the road team, Southern Miss Golden Eagles, take a 3-touchdown lead into the second half. Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with Georgia Southern with a mountain to climb, and it feels like it might be impossible for them to come back the way Southern Miss has been playing so far tonight.
I mean, it's complementary football. The defense is sacking the quarterback and getting takeaways. The offense is spreading the field, running the ball effectively, pushing the ball downfield. It's a total team effort right now for Southern Miss. And I mentioned that defense making big plays in that secondary. Those guys are fast back there. Talked about the defensive line and all the guys that can get after the quarterback and finding ways to get the ball back to Braylon Braxton. This offense, this is Doc Chapman with the seam route, boom, right down the middle of the pipe. And then later finds Carl Chester, and it's been, as you mentioned, Jay, all Southern Miss since the beginning of that game.
0 rushing yards for Georgia Southern on 14 rushing attempts, 0 for 7 on 3rd down. And taking away the 1 Georgia Southern touchdown drive, which was early in this game. This entire first half belonged to Charles Huff and this Southern Miss team. And the Golden Eagles will start with the ball and a 3-touchdown lead.
The over on 3rd down is just an absolute killer.
I never say never. I mean, nothing's impossible, right? But what's it going to take from Georgia Southern here at home?
It's going to take Southern Miss making some mistakes. It's going to take Georgia Southern's defense creating some takeaways. You got to find a way to, I mean, first of all, just get some momentum, get some excitement back in your team right now. And Clay Helton's trying to pump these guys up here and telling them the same thing you are. This game isn't over, but we got to start playing it right now.
Well, Braylon Braxton, the Sun Belt champion a year ago with Marshall, who transferred with his head coach to Southern Miss, has looked very comfortable at quarterback. Got the run game established with Jeffrey Pittman as well. He had 2 touchdowns in the first half and takes that carry for 5 to start the second.
Braylon Braxton, total command out there. Great decisions, when to hand the ball off, when to throw it in that RPO scheme.
Hands it off again. Pittman a 1st down and more. Rumbling past the 45-yard line, a gain of 16.
And we mentioned in the first half, Jay, about coming into this game, Georgia Southern doing a poor job tackling on the 2nd and 3rd level. They did a good job of that in the first half overall, but right there on that play, they didn't. And this is Braden Harrington down, who's had an absolutely phenomenal first half. 8 tackles on the night.
Yeah, he was the lone bright spot on a Georgia Southern defense that struggled. And Harrington, who has battled injuries throughout his college career, the 7th-year senior, getting attended to on the field, will step aside. Well, good to see Brendan Harrington, the 7th-year senior linebacker, walk off under his own power. His Georgia Southern defense has struggled tonight, but he's been a big bright spot with 8 tackles to lead the team. Southern Miss driving to start this second half. Play action. Braxton, pressure coming, down he goes. Well, that's what the home team Eagles have struggled to do tonight. Bring Braylon Braxton down, and C.J. Allen, who came in for Harrington, does so there.
There we go. That's what this team needed. Get a little positive play, sacking the quarterback, get some juice on your side here.
2nd and 14 after the sack. Braxton, good protection this time, slings it over the middle. It's caught right at the 50. Elijah Metcalf, gain of 8.
I'll tell you, just from last year to this year, Jay, watching Braxton, his accuracy has really improved. I mean, he had a ton of time right there, but he fit that ball right in between 3 blue jerseys on that play. He's been doing it all night.
3rd and 6 upcoming. What is it when a quarterback improves accuracy? Usually, what were they working on in the offseason?
I think it's timing, it's rhythm, it's you know, getting with your wide receivers, the rapport of knowing where they're going to be and having confidence in that.
Braxton, flush left. Floats it. Nobody home. And that is a good stand by Georgia Southern defensively. If the Eagles were going to give themselves any shot to roar back in this second half, it had to start with a defensive stop on the first possession, and they get it.
No, you're right. They absolutely could not allow Southern Miss to come out of half with the ball and just drive down the field and score. They forced a punt, and now it's going to be up to that offense to find a way to string a couple good plays together, get in a rhythm here.
Well, they had 48 yards on their touchdown drive. On all the other 8 drives in that first half combined, they had a total of 48 yards.
It's just been a strain. It really has. And, you know, J.C. French, I think coming into this game early in this season, played well, but he has the turnovers tonight. Something Clay Helton, you know, has been just preaching to him. We can't have those untimely interceptions.
A direct snap to the running back, O.J. Arnold running left. Flies forward for a Georgia Southern first down. Amir Foster finally took him down after a gain of 11.
There we go, first down. First play of the drive, get some positive momentum.
And Georgia Southern, who had 0 rushing yards the entire first half on 14 carries. They go for 11 on the first run of the second half. They go right back to Arnold. No positive yardage on first down.
And Arnold got up in that hole, and he was trying to find a little daylight that just pop that thing out of it. Just didn't really come open for him.
Empty set for French. Moves Arnold over. Trying to turn up field to no avail, no gain. Swallowed up by Jamon Tapp.
Now that's what you call having an edge on your defense. Jamon Tapp came upfield on that little jet sweep, set the edge, made the tackle. It's good D.
A third down, crushed Georgia Southern in that first half. 0 for 7. You got a third down here and a flag coming. Who jumped first on that line of scrimmage?
Ball start. Number 4 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's the second time tonight Camden Brown, the wide receiver, has jumped off sides. There's just not a lot of room for error for Georgia Southern at this point in the season, and they kill themselves in big moments. It's just, he knew it right away, but it just can't happen.
8th penalty of the night for Georgia Southern.
3rd and long.
Marches them back to 3rd and 13. French delivers the best ball of the night for an Eagles first down. Marcus Sanders to keep the drive alive, gain of 20.
You nailed it, partner. Best throw of the night, a confidence builder for J.C. French. They bring 5. Offensive line, good job with the protection, and a great job by J.C. French of finding Sanders over the middle. I really would like to see them get up to the line and go tempo.
Well, they run it right up the middle. with David Badinga, who's got the lone touchdown for Georgia Southern tonight. He takes that for a gain of 6.
There we go. Now we're getting the line.
Quick snap, bubble screen. They find Brown. He already has a career high in receptions tonight. Takes that for another Georgia Southern first down into Southern Miss territory.
Jay, you know I've been begging for this all night. Just a bit quicker tempo. You got a defense that shifts around on their defensive front, likes to jockey in and out of position on the back end here. You negate all that by going tempo.
Brown's 8th catch, and it forces Southern Miss to burn a timeout.
The first of the second half.
Yeah, Charles Huff says, look, we got to calm our unit down here a little bit and get resettled here.
Southern Miss, a 3-touchdown cushion, but Georgia Southern driving. The power of Paulson Stadium. You never know what can happen in a second half. And Georgia Southern with arguably their best drive of the game. Now can they convert it into points? First down from the Southern Miss 40-yard line. J.C. French, quarterback keeper. He defended well to make sure French could not really turn that corner like he wanted to. Jonathan Penix met him.
It was a good job by Southern Miss, and Penix staying home on that. And you watch Southern Miss defensively, it's like there'll be a little bit of a space, and then boom, that gap just closes down because of the speed they have on that unit.
French barking orders at his offensive line. Changing the play here ahead of a 2nd and 8. Hands it off, Badinga up the middle. Gain of 3 to set up a 3rd and manageable here at the 35-yard line.
Did like that play call there. Clearly Southern Miss thought Georgia Southern was going to throw right there. They hand the ball off and pick up a couple.
And you're probably in 4-down territory here.
And there's your guy, Camden Brown, up at the top there. 6 receptions on the night.
French looking the other way. Throws. It's caught for a Georgia Southern first down. Taylor Bradshaw, his first catch of the night, and it's a big one to move the sticks.
And there he goes. Good job here. Waited for the first receiver to clear out and then hit Bradshaw coming on that slant route. Well thrown ball.
Quick hitter, this time to the other side. It's Brown. He turns upfield. Shoved out of bounds at the 20.
Yeah, this is easily their best drive of the game. Good runs, perimeter passes, throws over the middle.
On the lone touchdown drive, they only had to go 48 yards. This drive started all the way back on the 13-yard line. They've gone 73 yards. Can they go another 21? 11th play of the drive. Screen. A broken tackle all the way to the 5-yard line. Amon Green sets Georgia Southern up for a 1st and goal from the 5 here.
Officials timeout.
Southern Miss with an injured player right where the tackle was made. Jameer Lewis getting attended to.
Trying to see what happened. Good job of French getting the ball out of his hand quick. So he just got tangled up there.
Yeah. Southern Miss on Southern Miss crime there.
Yeah, a little friendly fire.
Senior getting helped off the field there ahead of this 1st and goal.
All right, now for Georgia Southern, J.C. French, important, it's critical. Don't try to force a ball and put it into harm's way right here. You put a nice drive together. This drive, 5 for 5, 62 yards. But just can't get sloppy, can't try to force something this area of the field.
David Bedinga's got the lone touchdown for Georgia Southern. He's in the game. Instead, French runs it himself. He's got blockers into the end zone. J.C. French, touchdown Georgia Southern, as the Eagles breathe some life into this game.
And I love the call right there, safe. Let your quarterback keep the ball. Got even numbers, 11 on 11 football, and he follows his blockers in there. Chandler Strong, the center, David Bedinga. Excellent bounce back drive for J.C. French in this offense.
A statement drive from Georgia Southern here at home, as they say, we're down, but we're not out. 12-play, 87-yard drive, which ends a Southern Miss 20. Rushed for ULM a year ago. Now the best running back in all of college football for Missouri as they go up against Alabama.
And we had Ahmad Hardy in Mizzou when he rushed for over 200 against Louisiana a couple weeks ago. And look, Charles Huff right now is saying to his team, look, we got to kind of stop the bleeding here a little bit. Any coach will tell you, Jay, a 2-score lead is like the most uncomfortable lead you can have, because, yeah, you're ahead by 2 scores, but the team is just knocking on the door to get back in this thing. They got to extinguish any hope Georgia Southern might have to get back in this thing.
A 21-point cushion has already shrunk to just 14 midway through this 3rd quarter. They go to the ground. Jeffrey Pittman plowing forward for a gain of 4.
Nice, you see Southern Miss going with a little tempo here, getting lined up quick.
You think that's to inject some urgency into the offense?
Yeah, I just think you kind of get your juice flowing a little bit. You get a positive play for 5 yards on 1st down. Go try to follow it up with another.
Play action. Pressure comes. Braxton gets rid of it, but a miscommunication there. Micah Davis cut off his route. Braxton sailed it, and now a critical 3rd down upcoming.
Here it is. Good job man coverage in that last one here. Let's see if Georgia Southern decides to bring pressure. They're showing pressure. They might look to drop some of those LBs out.
Georgia Southern trying to swing the momentum in this 2nd half. Can their defense get off the field on a 3rd and 6? Handoff Pittman, huge hole opens up. 1st down into the secondary. Jeffrey Pittman, a gain of 14 to keep the drive alive.
Crusher for Georgia Southern.
And there's a late flag thrown at the opposing 40-yard line. This is 20 yards away.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 5 defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Goes from bad to worse for Georgia Southern. You let up the 3rd down conversion, and then a personal foul to send the ball into Eagles territory.
Wow, it was Aiden Jackson. And you could tell Georgia Southern was expecting pass on that play for the 1st down. I did not see the penalty on Aiden Jackson.
9th penalty tonight against Georgia Southern. Screen game. Good tackle there. Dorian Smith keeps it at only a gain of 6. Could have been more. Southern Miss trying to get back into their offensive rhythm. Braxton right on the money. Another Golden Eagles 1st down, and they're knocking on the door of the red zone again.
Good job of Braxton getting that ball out of his hand fast. They brought 5. Linebacker was looping in to his right. Got the ball out of his hand quick.
1st and 10. Handoff Pittman. Hits the hole hard, but he's met by a wall of blue jerseys. Devin Lowe got there first for Georgia Southern.
like one of those slow mesh plays that Wake Forest used to always do.
Officials timeout.
Well, that's Pittman, the ball carrier, who stays down. Jeffrey Pittman has had an outstanding night. 19 carries, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He's coming off a performance week and a half ago against Jack State. 18 rushes for 80 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Well, this is his 3rd straight game with 2 touchdowns. He's been the bell cow out of the backfield for Southern Miss.
Yeah, he has, and you know it's so critical when you're knocking on the door. You're inside that 10-yard line. Can you find a way to punch it in? He's done that, and even out in the field. And that was that critical 3rd down run right there that I think took a little wind out of the sail. Here it is, right here, out of Georgia Southern. They're getting ready to force a punt and get off the field.
Pittman trying to shake it off on the sideline. They have capable bodies in the backfield to spell him, though. Matt Jones, the transfer from Ole Miss, on the right hip of Braylon Braxton. Braxton looking to throw it. Slings it. It's caught. Another big play in the passing game. Braylon Braxton delivers. This time, Elijah Metcalf gain of 18.
And this is why you throw those bubble screens to the perimeter there. Looks like Metcalf is going to block, and then instead of blocking the quarterback, he sails up the sideline in a perfect throw by Braxton. And look at this.
Matt Jones untouched. Jones comes in for Pittman. It's Southern Miss, an immediate answer. Big time touchdown for Charles Huff team.
And just a crusher for Georgia Southern. They come out, they have their best drive of the game. They punch it in, they score, get some momentum, get some excitement back. And Southern Miss does what good teams do, and that's extinguish that.
That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the ensuing kickoff.
Another penalty against Georgia Southern. That's now 10 on the night against Clay Helton's team. Southern Miss, they go 75 yards in 8 plays. Right as Georgia Southern gets back into the game, Southern Miss that immediate answer to restore a 3-touchdown advantage.
Yeah, and football is such a game of momentum, and you come out of half, you get a nice drive, and then your defense allows, a couple penalties, a couple nice runs, and all that momentum you started to gather up is just gone. Boom, just like that. And credit Southern Miss for answering. Bad teams, average team allow another team's momentum to spiral and kind of get out of control of them, and they came out on that drive and took care of business. But for Georgia Southern, look, you're telling your offense, hey, we just came off our best drive of the game. There's no rule out there that says that's the only one we can have, right? You can put another good one together. J.C. French did a great job in that last drive.
Well, the Southern offense only had 96 total yards in that first half. They had 92 yards on that touchdown drive alone.
And they had 30 yards on the ground after having 0 in the entire first half.
So a much improved touchdown drive, but their defense does them no favors. And they'll head back out there still in a 21-point hole. Now, those are the numbers we were just talking about. This time their drive will start from the 25-yard line after the touchback. Those 10 penalties so costly tonight for Georgia Southern. Feels like not all penalties are created equal, and they came at critical times. Big run here to ignite the drive. How about O.J. Arnold? And Georgia Southern getting the run game going after they had 0 rushing yards the entire first half.
O.J. Arnold, he runs hard.
They go right back to Arnold. Yeah. This time swung down, but still positive yardage on first down, a gain of 4. On Georgia Southern's lone touchdown drive of the first half, it was ignited by a flea flicker, and they haven't gone back to any trick plays. They caught Southern Miss's defense off balance for one of the few times all night. French, way too much on that one, brings up third down.
As well covered all across the board there by Southern Miss. No one really to throw the ball to. Tried to hit him on green. And if I'm Georgia Southern, I'm finding a way to scheme up to get that guy the ball right there. Camden Brown.
He's over 100 yards on the night for a 3rd straight game. Career high 9 receptions. French looking Brown's way, decides to tuck and run. Diving forward, J.C. French does enough for a Georgia Southern first down. Keeps the drive alive with his legs.
And that was a great job by French. As soon as he saw man coverage, man means the defense's back is turned to me as they run away with the receivers, tucks the ball and runs for a first down. Excellent.
Well, French has looked a lot better in this second half. Threw 2 interceptions in the first. He is in command. Ball back in Southern Miss territory, a 1st and 10. French trying to escape that sack. Only loses 1. Michael Montgomery and Jamon Tapp combined for the sack there.
Timeout. Officials timeout.
That's J.J. Hawkins down for Southern Miss. Now, Hawkins part of that defensive line that has given French and the Georgia Southern offensive line tons of trouble tonight. French been under constant duress. You made the comment in the first half that just nothing's come easy, and I think a big reason is that defensive line for Southern Miss has produced 4 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, and a ton of hurries.
Yeah, it's not like J.C. French has had a ton of time back there to just go through 3 and 4 plus progressions.
And on the other side of the ball, Braylon Braxton feels like he could have had a cup of tea and still made a couple of these throws. Get great protection.
Yeah, it's amazing how much your accuracy improves when you have a lot of time back there.
Second and 11 after the sack. Go right back to the ground game with Arnold running hard in the second half. Gain of 7.
If I'm this Georgia Southern offense, I'm inspired by how hard O.J. Arnold is running right now.
43 yards for Arnold in this second half. They go right back to him. Why not? And he picks up the first down. Needed 4, got 4. And Georgia Southern continues to move the chains in this second half. Been much improved since halftime.
Yeah, I mean, and the difference, Jay, is they've found a way this half to run the football. Remember, 0 rush yards the first half. And it's been a different story with their run game here in the second.
And on third down, they were 0 for 7 in the first half, 4 for 4 on third down in this third quarter. Play action. French taking a shot to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. J.C. French threading the needle. A 39-yard touchdown for Marcus Sanders.
And I thought Georgia Southern did a great job with tempo. It looked like on the back end, Southern Miss was just a little bit disheveled, and Georgia Southern caught him. I mean, it's just a great job by Marcus Sanders adjusting to the ball and coming back to it, making the catch over Amir Foster.
So after a first half that Southern Miss dominated, Georgia Southern in this third quarter back-to-back touchdown drives. And Clay Helton's team has made it a 14-point game with 1:19 to play in this third quarter.
And I think we're talking right there is Sanders. And look, you can see on the back end there, like how Southern Miss's secondary is just a little bit out of whack there. They only, you got that guy, I got that guy, what happened? And then Miles Sanders gets behind him in a nice throw by J.C. French. And again, that's why you use tempo. Just creates a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of questioning. Who, you got him? Do I got him? What's going on? Boom, and you hit him. And for Georgia Southern, Clay Helton, you got to be proud of your quarterback, J.C. French. 2 interceptions in the first half. It looked like the wheels were getting ready to come off, and that young man has answered. I mean, that is just phenomenal.
You're at home, and Southern Miss comes in and scores 28 unanswered on you. Has a 3-touchdown lead at halftime. You don't know how a team's going to respond. Half the stadium empties out, and Georgia Southern has responded incredibly positively to be back in this game. 14-point game, as we remind you, Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Do not miss it on the all-new ESPN app. It's the crown jewel down under in Perth, Australia, the 7th annual Crown Jewel WWE event. John Cena continuing his retirement tour. Do not miss it.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Brandon Bailey right now, Georgia Southern's defensive coordinator, I'm dialing up some pressure. I want to try to force a bad throw. A takeaway at this point in the game would be absolutely crucial to get some momentum back.
And Jeffrey Pittman back into the game after he went down injured on the previous drive. Matt Jones came in and scored the touchdown for Southern Miss out of the backfield.
And this Georgia Southern defense has 7 takeaways on the season, got none in their last game against JMU and none so far tonight.
So the Eagles offense has done their part of this third quarter. Can the Georgia Southern defense deliver? Pittman running hard. Takes that for a Southern Miss first down.
Southern Miss looks content to just keep running that ball with Pittman. And they're slowing things down a little bit. They're going to try to get this thing to the fourth quarter. Have to run one play.
Pittman's up to 93 yards on the night. This will be the final play of this third quarter. Southern Miss with the ball and a 2-touchdown lead. They go right back to Pittman, his 3rd straight carry. And we head to the fourth quarter. Southern Miss still in the driver's seat.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Looking for their first road win in nearly 2 years. But Georgia Southern saying, down but not out. 2 third-quarter touchdowns have given the Eagles a chance at what would be a Herculean comeback. Fourth quarter, Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter with you. Georgia Southern has battled back in this game. 2 touchdowns in that third quarter. Still down 14 at home. On defense to start the fourth, Rocky, they need a stop to stay within striking distance.
I mean, they'll go a long way if they can get a stuff right here and force a 3rd and long.
They have struggled against Braylon Braxton, the Southern Miss quarterback, at this explosive Golden Eagles offense tonight. They go to the run game. Pittman running left, turns the corner, shoved out of bounds. Shy of the first down marker, but a 3rd and short upcoming for Southern Miss.
Georgia Southern just couldn't get that edge to their defense, gave up a few too many yards on that.
They go right back to Pittman. He's got the first down. Over 100 yards rushing tonight, and it's a new career high for Jeffrey Pittman, the transfer from Mississippi State. 2 touchdowns tonight. Incredible performance on the ground.
Yeah, it was a critical first down pickup there for Southern Miss. We'll take a little bit of an exhale here.
1st and 10 from the 50. Play action. Braxton unloading a deep ball, going for it all. Incomplete. A yard in front of Tyshawn Chapman. And Southern Miss, they've hit on 3 plays of 30 yards or more in the pass game, so not surprising to see Braxton taking another shot deep there.
Now, and I like the call there. You pick up the first down. So why not take a shot and take the top off? And oh, he almost had it. It wasn't the best thrown ball in the world, but he still was almost able to haul that thing in.
And Chapman nearly tracked it down. 2nd and 10. Back to the run game. Why not? It's worked all night. This time, Matt Jones. And Southern Miss in business again. Another first down and a gain of 17.
Matt Jones ran right through Justin Myers on that play.
Play action. Braxton eyeing another deep shot. And again, he had Elijah Metcalf and missed him. Would have been another Southern Miss touchdown.
And I think I jinxed him, Jay. I was talking about how great his accuracy was, especially late in that first half, and just missed on a couple deep balls.
Feels like now or never time for this Georgia Southern defense. Desperate for a stop. Trailing 2 touchdowns at the start of this 4th quarter. Pittman.
Nice.
Not much running room. That's what Georgia Southern has been looking for. With Dorian Smith and Devon Lowe combining on the stop.
And that was, Dorian Smith comes up and makes a heck of a play right there. That's some of those tackles this linebacking core and secondary has been missing a lot, and now a critical 3rd down. And if I'm Georgia Southern, I am bringing some pressure, but maintaining my gap integrity and not allowing Braylon Braxton to take off and use his legs up the middle. I cannot allow him to just sit back in that pocket and look around and make a late throw.
3rd and 7. They run it with Pittman. Turns the corner, and he's got the first down. That is a back-breaking run by Jeffrey Pittman. A gain of 8 on 3rd and 7.
No edge, right? That's what I said. There was a point of emphasis coming into this game. We got to have an edge in the defense. Just allow Southern Miss to run around the left side.
Quick hitter. And a good tackle that time. Dorian Smith doing it all on this drive. He's been the bright spot defensively out of the secondary. If you flipped over from the game on ESPN, a fun finish between Tulane and East Carolina that just went final. Thursday night college football continues here in the Sun Belt. An offensive explosion. Southern Miss already with 35 points, looking for more as they have been in command ever since they put 28 unanswered in the first half. Great play there, individual effort. MJ Stroud, the redshirt junior from Covington, Georgia, bringing down a 240-pound quarterback.
Say that was a big boy tackle. I mean, Stroud just shot out of a cannon and brings down Braylon Braxton. As we mentioned, he goes 240. Took him right to the earth.
Incredibly elusive. The 5th-year senior quarterback who's been trouble tonight for Georgia Southern. Brought down that time for a loss of 4 and sets up a 3rd and 15. Southern Miss 2 for 2 on 3rd down on this drive. Can they do it again? Braxton in trouble. Throws on the run. It's caught, but well short of the line to gain. Now a decision to make if you're Southern Miss head coach Charles Huff.
Kick this thing. Kick it. Yeah, there you go.
Their field goal kicker, Reed Harradine, has struggled this season, just 5 of 8. But remember, he had to take over punting duties for 2 weeks, which takes you out of your routine. And they're actually going with the backup, true freshman, Creighton Wilbanks. This is his first ever field goal attempt as a college kicker. And he drills it.
Wow.
The true freshman, Creighton Wilbanks, comes in for the starter, Reed Harradine, and with his first collegiate kick, drills it from 42.
Yeah, good decision there. Wind is at his back. Good job getting that field goal. 38-21, Southern Miss.
ESPN College Football Primetime in the Sun Belt on a Thursday night. If you're not done with college football after Tulane and ECU and you flipped over to the Deuce, Rocky Boyman, Jay Alter have you covered. Very impressive performance from Southern Miss, a program that just had 1 win all of last season. A 17-point lead in the 4th quarter. A statement performance on the road. Been very impressive with them offensively tonight, Rocky.
Yeah, they've been great in all phases. You know, offensively, they've run the ball very well. Jeffrey Pittman has had a heck of a ball game. Matt Jones has a score. And I think Braylon Braxton has made overall some great decisions with the football. Come up with a big throw when he's had to.
Well, they scored 28 unanswered to finish that first half. They tacked on 10 points in the second half. And Georgia Southern, they've looked a lot better offensively since halftime. They've scored on back-to-back touchdown drives. Their defense hasn't given them much help, though.
You're right, but the key to them having some successful drives here in the second half is getting positive plays on first down like we saw right there. Much easier to convert a 2nd and 1 than sitting there staring down the barrel of a 2nd and 8.
Well, the first half, they had 14 carries, 0 rushing yards. So far in the second half, 14 carries, 75 rushing yards. French, the quarterback, escapes the sack, takes it for a first down. He's been much more in command, confident in the second half.
And that's fine. You know, the throw isn't there. Instead of trying to force someone, wait for a guy to get open against this defensive front as they're closing in, boom, tuck that thing, pick up the first.
French looking to the air.
Good throw.
Completes another ball. He's been dialed in the second half. Finds Dallin Cobb that time for a gain of 17.
2 straight drive. They had a 12-play, 87-yard touchdown drive, and then an 8-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. Looking good on this one.
A pump and go. French going for it all. And it's incomplete. He had Camden Brown. Corey Myrick closed late.
I'm trying to figure out how he missed this thing. It just goes right through his hand. I mean, it's a little bit behind him, but
Myrick did just enough to throw Brown off, who's had a career night.
Wow.
Over 100 yards receiving, a career high 9 receptions, but couldn't connect that time. 9 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Georgia Southern looking for a Herculean comeback and another big play in the passing game as French picks out the tight end, Amon Green.
Just so impressed with J.C. French. He had a bad first half, and he has absolutely come out, put all that aside, and made some great throws.
Timeout taken by Southern Miss.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Southern Miss. Media.
Charles Huff's team with a 17-point lead needs to talk things over on defense. To 7 at halftime. Georgia Southern's been terrific offensively in this second half. They were driving with the ball here, trailing by 17. And they've got Weston Bryan, the true freshman quarterback, lined up at wide receiver. French throws, and it's intercepted. J.C. French has thrown his 3rd interception of the night. Josh Moten.
Throwing on the field is an interception. First down, Southern Miss.
There was a miscommunication there between French and his wide receiver.
Yeah, either way, you just can't throw a ball into double coverage. I mean, look at this. There's just nothing but white jerseys around Camden Brown. And I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with bringing Weston Bryan in.
Yeah, that's Weston Bryan, number 9. He's the backup quarterback. When we saw him coming in, you're thinking maybe it's a double pass.
Yeah, instead he runs a flat route. I don't really know what they were trying to accomplish there.
3rd interception of the night for J.C. French, and by far the most costly. Southern Miss takes over. It's a 3-score game with a 17-point lead, and a Southern Miss team that's so effective running the ball that they can just drain this clock.
And that's exactly what they plan on doing right here.
You would be surprised if they put it in the air even once on this drive, right?
Unless, you know, look, Braylon Braxton's gonna come to that line. He's gonna count that box up, and if they got, you know, 7, 8 guys in there, he may shoot the ball out to the perimeter. But outside of that, Jay, I think they're going to try to keep this ball on the ground and just drain this clock. Georgia Southern getting ready to score, possibly make this a 10-point game, and the script flips just like that.
We've said it a few times tonight, but this is a statement performance for a Southern Miss team that has overhauled their program under a first-year head coach in Charles Huff. A football team that only had 1 win all of last season. They go and take the Sun Belt coach that wins the league in Charles Huff from Marshall, and he brings 21 players with him, including the quarterback, Braylon Braxton, including the entire secondary. We just saw Josh Moten get an interception, and they're wearing different uniforms, but when you have 21 players that won a Sun Belt championship, they're going to play with confidence, and that is what they've done on the road tonight. Braxton is going to throw here, right on the money, but a fumble. That is a catch and a live ball, and Georgia Southern has it. Brandon Tyson takes the ball away, and the Eagles have life.
Is the receiver caught the ball and then fumbled it.
And that is the right call by the officiating crew.
Absolutely it is.
That was a catch.
And we were just talking, Jay, about how this defense desperately needs a takeaway. They have 7 on the year, none last week, had none so far tonight, and they come up with a big one. And just coming in, and that was Ja'Quari Brown with a great tackle.
Brandon Tyson there to scoop it up. And Georgia Southern in business inside the Southern Miss 30.
I'm taking a shot right here. Taking a shot.
J.C. French trying to shake off his 3rd interception of the night.
I'd protect this thing up, and I'd put the ball downfield and try to go for the dagger here.
Seven minutes remaining. Georgia Southern given a lifeline. French scrambles for positive yardage.
That's it. Decent decision there. Pick up positive yards. That's been the key to these drives in the second half. Picking up positive yards on first down. 2nd and 7.
The door has cracked slightly open for Georgia Southern. Can they blow it down and put some points on the board here? Play action. French going for the end zone. It's knocked away. What a play. Ian Foster denies Dallin Cobb a touchdown. Great pass breakup.
And Ian Foster, Jay, is one of the best safeties in the entire Sun Belt. Just a great job running stride for stride. Just keeps battling, punching, fighting, scratching, clawing, trying to pull that. He got that right arm down and pulled it away. before Cobb could pull in that reception.
Georgia Southern, a 3rd and 7. French throws. It's caught. Camden Brown spins free and scores. Camden Brown, shedding tacklers, dives in for a Georgia Southern touchdown.
We got a ball game here, boys.
Georgia Southern had been left for dead, trailing by 3 touchdowns, and if the extra point is good, they have cut it to 10. The Eagles cash in on the fumble and are right back in it with 6:20 to play.
If you're Southern Miss, again, you're starting to tighten up a little bit. You're saying, hey, we just can't knock these guys out. We can't put them down on the mat.
How about this? The Georgia Southern offense, 3 touchdowns in this second half. J.C. French, he's overcome throwing 3 interceptions, and he's got his team within striking distance, trying to pull off.
Nothing I love more than when a player plays fearless out there. J.C. French throws his 3rd interception on one of the worst decisions you could make, but he doesn't go conservative, doesn't just try to cower down. He goes back in attack mode and leads his team down after getting the takeaway on a great scoring drive. Beautiful throw to Camden Brown there. Fearless. Love it.
He's got 3 touchdowns in this second half to give Georgia Southern a shot here, trailing by 10, 6:20 to play. We've mentioned a few times, Southern Miss is bringing 21 players over from Marshall. This play is blown dead, by the way.
Number 3 signaled, therefore fair catch.
Flashback to last year. Head coach Charles Huff, Sun Belt champions Marshall. They were up 23-3 entering the 4th quarter here at Paulson Stadium, and things went haywire. Marshall, 2 fumbles, an interception. Georgia Southern completes just an incredible comeback, wins the game 24-23 after trailing by 20. And you have to think the 21 players that were on the field that day for Marshall that came
a lot
to
of them
Southern
now.
Miss. You know, they fumbled on the previous drive. Georgia Southern cashes in for the touchdown.
I guarantee you that drive last year is going through Charles Huff's head right now, saying we got to close the door on this comeback.
Looking for a response, not going to get one on the first down run by Pittman. Gang tackled, no gain.
Charles Huff said, what do I got to do to just lay the hammer down and close this game out? And can't do it.
MJ Stroud, the redshirt junior defensive end, stays down after he made the tackle for Georgia Southern. You know, talking to Huff, we brought up that 4th quarter collapse last year against Georgia Southern, and he said that's actually the moment that led us to winning the Sun Belt.
Yep.
Because you went into the locker room and go, this is what happens when you don't take care of your business during the week in practice. And the response from that was they won every game they played the rest of the year, winning a Sun Belt championship, and then moving over to, you go from the top of the conference to the bottom of the conference, Sun Belt champs, to then 1-win Southern Miss. And you take 21 players with you, 10 coaches with you. They've turned it around. Now can they close the deal and win their first road game in almost 2 years?
And this is a big moment for Braylon Braxton here. I think one of the best quarterbacks in the Sun Belt Conference. Can he find a way to just shut down this comeback by Georgia Southern?
He was one of those 21 players that came with Coach Huff to Hattiesburg from Marshall. They go back to the run game. Micah Davis couldn't turn the corner. Defended brilliantly by Georgia Southern.
Yeah, and Brendan Harrington has just had a fantastic football game, roaming the middle of that field for Georgia Southern. A huge tackle right there.
You can feel the momentum swinging to Georgia Southern, and Clay Helton decides to use the timeout, preserve some clock ahead of this 3rd and 9. So he's got 2 timeouts remaining. And you know, Clay Helton's reminding everybody that they're capable of crazy comebacks. We just showed you the one they had against Marshall last year, and they were down 3 touchdowns at halftime. They have battled back and then some, Rocky.
Yeah, Jason French is just not, mailed this thing in. And this is the key play right here. I mean, Southern Miss converts this. They run the ball. The rest of that drive here and bleed that clock out. They get the big takeaway, and then J.C. French escaping the pocket, eyes downfield.
Try a jet sweep here on 3rd and 9. Doesn't work. The Georgia Southern defense delivers. Dorian Smith. Clay Helton uses another timeout to stop the clock.
Timeout. Georgia. This is their second of the half. Please set the game clock to 5:43. 5:43. This will be 30 seconds in late.
And Southern Miss is going to have to punt this ball away.
5:43. Game clock's at 5:43.
The perimeter tackling there's been such a difference. They made it a point of emphasis in the bye week. We got to tackle better. We got to tackle better in our secondary. And Dorian Smith has played a heck of a ball game doing just that. Firing this team up.
And those that have stayed late here on a Thursday night, we're past 11:25 Eastern time. They are being rewarded at Paulson Stadium as the home team is trying to engineer a Herculean comeback. Another short punt. They've gone back and forth between Reed Harradine and Jack Murley in the punting game. Only goes for 34 yards, and that's where the Georgia Southern offense will take over. A Southern Miss 21-point lead has shrunk to 10, and the Eagles with a huge opportunity with the ball. And look at those 4 drives in the second half. Touchdown, touchdown. They were driving in the red zone when J.C. French threw an interception and then responded with a touchdown.
And if I am Southern Miss's defense, I am finding out where number 4 is. He's at the bottom of your screen, Camden Brown. He's got 10 receptions for 127 yards and touchdowns. Had that last touchdown. I'm not going to let Georgia Southern's best player beat me right here.
First down, they go to the ground. Badinga driven backwards. That's the thing for Georgia Southern. You don't necessarily need to go in too much of a hurry. You still got more than 5 minutes left in this game. French hesitates, then throws. It's caught, but well short of the first down. Marcus Sanders.
And we got such a great matchup here. You see the bottom of your screen. Camden Brown on Josh Moten right there. One of the Sun Belt's best cornerbacks. See these two go at it.
French goes to Brown. Completes the pass. Went right at the matchup you were talking about, Rocky, and Brown beats Moten for a Georgia Southern first down into Southern Miss territory.
I love it. Two of the best going at it right here. One-on-one, mano-a-mano.
French on first down, going for it all, right back to Brown. And it falls incomplete. Good coverage from Moten.
And again, Moten, tall, length. He has a cornerback. He led the Sun Belt Conference in 3rd in the FBS with 5 interceptions last year. And they're taking no chance. We're putting our best guy on your best guy and giving ourselves a chance.
Do you like French taking a shot there on first down?
I do, yeah.
You still have time. 4 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. One timeout for each team. Play clock down to 1. French didn't recognize it.
Did Helton get a timeout in there?
Delay a game,
No.
offense.
Well, I don't know if you even want to use your last timeout there.
You don't want to.
That's something that J.C. French has to see with the play clock winding down.
Yeah, that's a mistake right there. You got to get that ball off.
So now 2nd and 15 after the delay of game.
Because now that secondary can just sit back there, and this is where if you're Southern Miss, that defensive line, those edge rushers, you got a ton of them. You got to bring some heat here.
They send 5. French throws over it. That pass is knocked away. Marcus Sanders met by Jonathan Penix. Penix stays down. And he went sky high to knock that ball down. 3rd and 15 upcoming as Penix gets looked at near the Southern Miss sideline.
And they're going for it all right there. Ball could have been caught.
So a 3rd and 15. What do you do here, Rocky? Because you probably know, okay, we got 2 plays to get 15 yards. You don't need it all here.
I was going to say, that's my thought process. You don't need it all right here. Try to get 8 yards here. Definitely can't settle for an incompletion or a loss of yardage play.
French slings it over the middle, and it's knocked away. Tried to squeeze it into Camden Brown. Dylan King got a hand in.
Excellent coverage back there by King. Look, he sees the ball and just reaches the left arm. That is textbook coverage.
4th and 15, and for all intents and purposes, this is the ball game for Georgia Southern. They've done such a good job picking themselves up off the mat in this second half, battling back to give themselves a chance. Need to convert here to keep the comeback alive. And they do! Huge throw on 4th down, and it's Camden Brown. Georgia Southern stays in the game and moves the chains.
Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt he was going to look the way of number 4? Southern Miss brought pressure. He knew he had one-on-ones on the back end and a huge completion.
French under pressure, takes the sack. Southern Miss responds. Chris Jones, biggest play of the night for the Southern Miss defense. A loss of 10 on the sack.
If you're J.C. French, you got to just find a way to get this ball, throw it away. Got outside the tackle box. Got to throw that ball away.
The clock continues to run, under 3:15 to play. 2nd and 20 after the sack. Georgia Southern runs it. Badinga only gains 4. Now you got 3rd and 16 with under 3 minutes left.
We'll highlight him again, Camden Brown.
Got to know where number 4 is tonight. A career high 158 yards and 12 receptions. It's caught. This time Dallin Cobb, another Georgia Southern first down as they convert a 3rd and 16 into the red zone.
These wide receivers, Jay, here in the second half have found a way to get separation. When there's space between the receiver and defender, the quarterback has an open lane to see it and can hit him.
French throws to the end zone, too high. Cobb didn't have a chance. Clock stops with 2:22 remaining, 1 timeout for each team.
It was a good job of Amir Foster coming over late and making a good play on the ball. This rush for Southern Miss has not had the impact it's had in the first half.
French going for Brown, and it's knocked away by Moten. A flag comes in. Josh Moten can't believe it. He thought that was a clean play against Brown. The officials decided otherwise.
Pass interference, defense, number 1. Ball we placed at the 2-yard line, automatic first down.
This gives a great shot here. close. That looked like two guys fighting for the ball there. I didn't see it. Didn't look like his left arm got around Brown's.
First and goal, French takes it himself, untouched. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. How about this? Southern Miss led by 21 in the second half, and J.C. French has fought back. And the Eagles are back within 4 with 2:14 remaining, a chance to make it a 3-point game with the extra point.
For Charles Huff, it's since deja vu, right? Last year when he's coaching Marshall, Georgia Southern with a late comeback, and just extremely proud of that young man right there, J.C. French, coming up big in big moments. And he's done this twice tonight. Down low here, let's leave no doubt. Hand the ball to your quarterback. Pick up the extra blocker.
I mean, at halftime, Clay Helton and J.C. French's team looked completely out of it. Southern Miss almost looked like they were in cruise control. Up 3 touchdowns, they had scored 28 unanswered.
Totally.
And Georgia Southern has roared back to make it a 3-point game, and now you got 1 timeout, 2:14 remaining, so you have the 2-minute timeout. You kick this deep, right?
You kick this deep, yeah. I don't think you have to go for an onside kick right here, because if you do, you give the ball to Southern Miss at midfield, and they can just bleed that clock. I think you kick it deep, and you hope your defense can come up with some stops. You have the 2-minute timeout. You have another timeout in your pocket as well. And it looks like Southern Miss is going to be ready for the onside. They are going to try something here.
It's Alex Smith, the punter, goes for the onside kick, and an easy recovery for Southern Miss, and a bad late hit.
I just don't agree with that decision right there.
Twelfth
penalty of the night against Georgia Southern.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 26, kicking team. 15 yards is added to the dead ball spot, first down.
I mean, you do all of this in the second half to battle back, to give your defense a chance. You got the 2-minute timeout. You got a timeout. I don't think you need to go for the onside kick.
You don't need to go for the onside kick.
And you certainly don't need a personal foul.
Yeah, and Huff is fired up because he knows that's exactly what he wanted to happen. Give us the ball at midfield, and then the penalty, which he just absolutely cannot have.
2:14, 2-1-4.
The ball's placed all the way at the Georgia Southern 35-yard line.
I mean, you pick up 15 yards here, and you're in field goal range.
So Southern Miss, who at one point 21-point lead in this second half, looked comfortable, now clinging to a 3-point advantage. They're 2 minutes and 12 seconds away from their first road win in nearly 2 years as we tick down to the 2-minute timeout. Now, you've waited 23 months for a road win. What's another 2 minutes?
Game clock to 2:11.
As Georgia Southern uses their final timeout of this game. The Southern Miss started walking off like, okay, we're going to the 2-minute timeout. No, Clay Helton says we'll use that final timeout.
Southern's final timeout.
Either way, you take the 2-minute timeout, and then you take your last timeout after that. But now they have no timeouts left. And for Southern Miss, it's, you know, more or less, you can get a first down, you can close this game out.
Here's Pittman. Gang tackled, pushing the pile, churning his legs. How about about the extra effort from Jeffrey Pittman, who was met at the line of scrimmage and carried Georgia Southern's defense for 6 yards. An impressive run, and it's a first down, 2-minute timeout. How about Pittman? Back effort is likely to fall just short. Right before the 2-minute timeout, Jeffrey Pittman had a 6-yard run carrying Georgia Southern defenders on his back. He got the first down, and why that is important is now they don't have to run the ball again. The math works in Southern Miss's favor, especially if you steal a few seconds like this. If you're Braylon Braxton, if you just kneel the ball 3 times, 40 seconds on that play clock and drain it down, you win the game.
And I think the mistake Georgia Southern did defensively there is they tried ripping the ball out, trying to rip that ball out of Pittman's hands, and that allowed him to get the extra yard instead of just getting him to the ground.
You have to give a ton of credit to Clay Helton's team for not giving up in this second half when they trailed by 21 midway through the third quarter. But Southern Miss did just enough to hang on. The college football continues this Saturday. The SEC on ABC. Monster triple header. Alabama at Mizzou kicks things off noon Eastern time. And then it's the All-State Red River rivalry, Oklahoma and Texas. ABC Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One is Georgia at Auburn.
Well, you said it, Jay. You got to give Clay Helton a ton of credit here. His team came back out in the second half, fought back. J.C. French played one of the best halves of football.
But ultimately, the Sun Belt on a Thursday night belongs to Southern Miss. Charles Huff's team comes into Statesboro and leaves with their first road win since November 2023. He told us this week, we got to prove we can do it on the road, and that's exactly what Southern Miss did tonight. A statement win to show that this program that just won one game all of last season can run the table and win the Sun Belt this year.
And look, I know there's a lot of downsides of the transfer portal, but one of the huge upsides is you can take a team that won one game last year and flip the script just like that. It's always hard, Jay, to come in on a short week, on a weeknight, come into an opponent's place and come away with a victory, but Southern Miss and Charles Huff and company are going to do just that.
Well, Braylon Braxton, Charles Huff, an impressive road win. They take it 38-35 in a thriller. For Rocky Boyman, I'm Jay Alter. So long from Statesboro. Thanks for joining us for College Football Prime Time on a Thursday night.